called I Don't Got Time to Read All That by Overall 99 Media, Keep It 99, the review channel, the news channel, in which this is what we're talking about, Tyla. And we have a tweet explaining the Tyla situation. That way we can understand it and maybe give a little pushback if needed or accept some blame if needed. So let's get it started. It is your boy Alphas May. I see you alphas in the building. For one quick second, go in the comments, like and subscribe if you like the video, and give a fellow alpha a zap. Now what we talking about today? We're gonna talk about Tyla. This beautiful young lady right here. As we stated earlier, her sales weren't good. They were absolutely horrific. And it's been reasons why that people have been going over on why her sales has been bad. Some people saying it's the comments where she says she's not black, she's colored, therefore she is disrespecting the American way that set a tone that she grew up watching. And there's some people that saying maybe she's not known, maybe people feel a type of way, maybe it's a lot of different situations, maybe music isn't just as popular. It's a lot of situations, but I did want to go over a post. It's going to give us a little more information on this. This is from Ty. So we're going to break down this tweet. We're going to go over it. We're going to talk about it. And then we're going to see what we agree with and disagree with. And y'all let me know in the comments. What do you agree with? What you disagree with? Am I missing something? Educate me on certain things. I am not the most, like, there's no one that's like ultra cultured in everything. So please inform me if I'm wrong. But we're going to see it from a perspective of an African American, the tone of black and all that stuff. We're going to see, and people from other places. So let's get into it. When Tyla said she is not black, but colored, she was not speaking into the American conversation about race at all. She was speaking in the language of her own country, shaped by his own history. Yet her words detonated in America as though they had been aimed there. This is what happens when a nation has spent a century convincing the world that its definitions are the only ones that matter. We're going to go over the second one too. America's greatest export has never been war. It's never been democracy. It's never been freedom. America's greatest export is the dream of itself. I agree with a lot of this, right? It's not much for me to disagree with. The only problem I will push back is, but we were going to go over that later. We're going to go over it later. But the black, not colored, being in this space, but saying that, it gets iffy, right? And saying that in America, while projecting to Americans, can get to something, but we're going to get in that. America's greatest export is the idea of America. That was always the marketing goal. That's how you become the most powerful. You introduce yourself in a way that leads everybody to hope. If I go there, it's amazing. If I do what they do. And in some cases, my boy from Kenya, she wants that. That's why she came over here. So when you come over here, it's a little bit of maybe scrutiny that you might have to go through that's probably a little unfair. Because it's the American dream is to be here, right? So you're saying she's talking to a nation of people, but she's not talking to the nation she's in. But I 100% get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, and I'm going to get your credit on a lot of it. But at the same time, can you see it from my perspective? If you want the US dollar, sometimes you have to understand US things. But let's go over them. It is not that films are inherently better. It's not that the music contains some mystical note absent everywhere elsewhere. What America has and what it has always had is money, reach, and a machinery built to make the image the center of the world. This was not accidental. It was policy. It was the soft arm of empire to project yourself outward until your face is the first one people recognize in the mirror. I have no qualms with this. It's been literally the beacon of the world. America has always presented itself as that. It has never faked it. We have never pretended it's not. That's the goal. That's the literally selling point of getting people to come to this country as immigrants, is that where your dreams can happen. We have the money, we have the infrastructure, we have everything he said. You cannot deny this part. So the American way of life became the default. Other cultures was filed into two neat draws. Savage, if they challenge the story. Exotic, if they could be sold back to you. If you're black, your first cinematic self was likely African American. The sitcom character, the hero of Spike Lee joint. If you're white in Europe or Australia, it was the white face of American sitcoms and tours. Whoever you were, your first image of yourself came with an American accent. Over time, Americans began to believe the story they had written. When you grow up in the country that built itself into the cultural mecca, it is easy to think you are the best simply because you are at the top. You forget or never know the game was fixed long before you played it. That's true too. But I don't think that's just American. I think the reason you know American culture and surrounding cultures is because you either lived it, because most countries aren't, not speaking on every country, but a lot of countries, it's like you can go to Europe and it's like the United States. You can travel by train anywhere. Trust me, you do not want to travel the train from New York to California. You're not doing that. But in Europe, you can do that, right? So it's massive size difference, everything. Even in America, they have different cultures as well. So I get what you're saying. And our culture is fed to you, as you said. But the thing is, I don't think you know cultures outside of your own. You might, but you do have a better understanding that cultures are different probably than Americans do. I give you credit for that. I do give you credit for that. But at the same time, again, the infrastructure you're talking about is the way to make a lot of money. It's probably the best way in a lot of cases to make the most amount of money. It is. Because America, unlike most places, you probably have a better opportunity to make it in entertainment. I'm not going to say in general, but entertainment, the infrastructure, everything you mentioned is true. So that's why people still want to come here. But let's see. But the monopoly is breaking. Nigeria's Nollywood now speaks across oceans. South Korean dramas leap borders. Shout out to TikTok. India's Bollywood never needed permission to fill theaters. Spanish thrillers kept strangers awake at night. Millionaire Squid Game's Money Heist Shogun, shout out Netflix, all aimed partly at the American market because that was where the money is, but no longer about America. And here's the thing, Black Americans who fought to be seen in their own country because the became the global face of blackness. That is a remarkable achievement. It was also made possible in the same system that excluded everyone else. Now, Africans, Caribbeans, Afro-Latinos, Latins tell their own story without making room for American centrality, and the absence is noticed. Listen, I'm getting back into this. Let me cook a little bit. You know what I'm saying? The words ain't flowing as easy. I haven't done this in a while. Most have been on podcasts. We getting back to it. But I digress. I agree with this, but at the same time, are you making money in America like that? This whole came from her sales, right? It came from her sales. She's selling to African American. So when you say without making room for American centrality, it is noticed. And people don't tend to like it. That's true. I will be first to be honest with you. People take offense to our culture. We take offense very easily. Why? Because we had to fight in a system in which it is very hard to fight it. Just imagine getting a piece of a pie that people didn't want you to get because you're so talented and that you worked so hard at it that they gave you a piece of the pie and they still screw you over in it. And that idea can still hold true and hurt at the same time, right? That idea that you say things wanting our money, but don't have a simple understanding that the black colored thing hurt in America because the way they used it in America. So people in America are going to take offense to it. Despite, I get it that in your country, colored is the word you use. Maybe some people consider black, some people consider colored. Over here, they label everybody, specifically in the South. I don't know about New York and everywhere else. When I was younger, I didn't go to them places until I got older, and it's more normalized now. But back then, it hit. So I don't disagree with none of this, what it's saying. Do y'all disagree? Let me know in the comment. But I do want you to understand, when you ask for the money and the sore spots, you still have to understand the sore spots. That's all I'm saying. when you hit the sore spot, you should be like, oh, my bad. I didn't mean it like that. I see what you coming from. I apologize on that end. But it seemed like people are telling you don't have to apologize because it's not your culture, it ain't your problem. I'm like, if you want the sales of American, you gotta have to play the game of the American, right? You have to be like, that's not where I'm from. Maybe I can educate you more about my culture. But then immediately being like, I don't care, dismiss it because it's not your culture, also will offend people in this culture as you seem offended that our culture is predominant and it doesn't matter anymore. Let's finish this up. We grew up watching you. You did not grow up watching us. And now the internet has leveled the ground just enough for others to speak without hesitation. Tyla words land differently because the world no longer accepts American as the only arbitrator of meaning. America's greatest export was never its art. It was the power to decide which art and which identities the world will see. That power is no longer yours alone. There is both justice and loss in it. I feel that. I don't have any disagreement with that. But I do want to point this out. You want us to respect your culture. Fine. I 100% agree. But a lot of that at the end specifically came as a dismissive of our pain. The pain we grew up. Your music and your styles and your fashion and a lot of things you do. Yes, you say you grew up watching us. So that means you might have a little more knowledge, or when somebody tells you the knowledge, you should probably take it. And I will say the same thing for you. If you go to Kenya, do not disrespect those people. If you go to Nigeria, do not disrespect those people. If you go anywhere, do not disrespect those people. Why? Because you are in their area. You are with them. You are among them. You wanted to go there. So please, when you come to America and somebody tell you something, least you can do is explain your situation, apologize for the misconception, and then go on. I'm not saying that's the reason Tyla failed. I'm rooting for Tyla. But at the same time, you have to be a little more apologetic when you are in a place and want something from that place. Because you admittedly in this post say you want the money. Don't care about the culture, you want the money. Well, in black space, the culture comes with the money, good and bad. I hate a lot of African-American culture. Not gonna hate you, not gonna lie to you. I hate a lot of it. But you gotta understand it, why, and a lot of things to maneuver around and to win over the people that you want to win over here. Because apparently, as you said, you want the money. So if you want the American money, you have to learn to play the game a little bit. The same way African Americans had to learn to play the game in a lot of ways. Some of my very much disagree and hate. You have to learn to play the game. I appreciate it. Let me know y'all thoughts. I don't disagree with nothing he said, but at the same time, you got to have understanding too. Because everything they said is right. I get it. There's other cultures, other things. I enjoy it. But people feel like the other cultures don't disrespect our culture. To the fact that some people are saying we don't even have a culture, which is disrespectful because we had to grow one while trying to be controlled and contained. And if we don't have a culture, why do you mimic so much of it? You say you watched our sitcom, listen to our music, that's culture. It's because you do our dances, and we do your dances too. Listen, I love African, I love it. So I appreciate y'all. But at the same time, we can learn a lot from each other. So let's stop that. Like and subscribe. Let me know y'all thoughts, y'all comments, everything. Please. Let me know if you enjoyed the video, if it's informative. Let me know your thoughts. I don't know everything, so put it in the comments so I can learn with you. I want to learn more about your culture. I will willingly teach you more about ours. Some of the silliness, some of the great things. People don't even know who Lewis Latimer is. He changed your life. Trust me. Your life has changed whether you're in America, Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, wherever you're from. He changed your life too. Lewis Latimer. Americans don't know who that man is. I appreciate y'all. This is I Ain't Reading All That, but I did because I did it for you. Peace.
Hi, my name is Jenny. I'm a sophomore, and this is for all three of you. Can you say in one sentence or less what? You know what I mean. Can you say why America is the greatest